Hiya, welcome back to the Pilates thread. As promised last night, I am here with you guys today to do a short mat class just to help shake loose the cobwebs and get us all moving and make us feel like we're not alone. So I'm excited to do this with you guys because I, having just recently moved to Melbourne, have not found a studio or a gym where I'm feeling connected yet. It takes a little bit of time to kind of find a space. So doing things at home has kind of been my jam here for a couple of months now, and so I'm excited to not feel quite so isolated myself in the midst of everybody being isolated. So welcome. As we get going, remember to honor your body where it's at, and if something doesn't feel right for you, pause along the way. I will let you know at different points where you can kind of hold the position, or you can go ahead and make it bigger. If you have handy a nice squashy ball, I would recommend that you grab that. If you don't have a ball like I've got here, this is a slow-mo. I have had this ball for like 15 years and I absolutely love it. I've got it kind of flat, just sort of at that level that I like it. If you have any kind of a squashy ball, it would be really helpful, but it's not required. And if you've got something else around that you can hold on to, if you've got a pillow or one of your kids' stuffed animals. Before my crate arrived and I didn't have my ball, I kept absconding with one of my daughter's teddy bears in order to have a prop when I needed it. So really anything will do, so long as it feels comfortable and it gives you some assistance. But I'm going to use my slow-mo ball here as we get going. So let's come on down into the mat, and we're going to start with a simple warm-up and some breathing, and then we'll kick into some exercises and see if we can't get our bodies feeling really good. All right, so we're going to come down onto the mat here, lying on our back, knees bent, feet standing. You want those feet to be hip distance apart. Once we come down onto the floor, it's easy to just kind of drop into it, but we want to lay here with intention. So we want those feet to be hip distance apart, feeling a nice strong inner thigh connection, pull to the midline. Equal pressure through the feet, big toe, little toe, and heel. Opening of the chest and a connection of the shoulder blades down into the rib cage. Lengthen through the crown of your head. You want to stretch that spine. Whatever we're doing from beginning here to end of class, we want that spine to feel long and stretched throughout everything. If your movement in any exercise needs to sacrifice the length of the spine for the size of your range of motion, keep that range of motion small. Always keep that spine nice and long and strong. We're going to start with our breath, which is an inhale through the nose. Exhale through the back of the throat, like we're fogging a mirror. Let's do a couple more of those. Notice we're trying to find that nice big breath into the rib cage. And now we'll connect our core. As the feet are pressed down with equal pressure, big toe, little toe, and heel, you want to feel that pelvis be nice and neutral in the middle of the mat. So if we take just a second here and we tuck the pelvis, we press the back onto the mat, that's our tuck. And we come into extension, stretching the low back, stretching the abdominals, and then rocking right into neutral, where there's no excess pressure or pull through the muscles or the bones. This is your neutral spine. Your little ASIS here, those hip bones should be pointing straight up to the ceiling. Knees in line, inner thighs active, pelvic floor engaged. Remember to pull everything up and in. Hold that connected. Inhale. Exhale, close the ribs. Down and together. Notice I didn't tuck my pelvis to close my ribs. Keep the chest open. Now breathe again without losing that connection. We get an expansion and an opening of the ribs this way, not a rise and fall of the belly. Pull that belly button flat to the spine. So we've got pelvic floor up and in, ribs down and together, belly button cinched. We've got a nice long spine, a little bit of space, or the idea of space between your low spine and the mat. Shoulder blades connected. Once again, we traction that spine. 2 more breaths. strong and connected. Now holding all of these connections, we're gonna bring those arms straight up to the ceiling. Fingertips reaching, palms facing the midline. Inhale as we protract the shoulder blades, reaching to the sky. Exhale, retract the shoulder blades. Now again, we don't pop the ribs, we don't move the pelvis. Inhale, reach. Exhale, connect. Remember to keep that neck long. Everybody's range of motion is going to be different. We're just loosening things up. Now, let that connection just be gentle in the joint space. Let's bring that right arm long by the ear and the left arm long by the hip. The ribs don't pop, the shoulder doesn't pop. We're nice and connected. Inhale, pinwheel the arms. Notice the breath takes the full length of the movement. Don't rush. One more each way. Bring it back to center. Exhale, fingertips together, elbows drop open. It's like we're giving a big hug around a beach ball. Inhale, open the arms, keeping the bend in the elbows. Exhale, close the fingertips together. So you feel the biceps, you feel the chest. Engage. Again, long spine, engaged, active core, inner thighs, pull to the midline. One more. Now we're going to bring those hands behind our head. The shoulder blades are connected. The base of my skull is resting in the hands, and the elbows, I can see them in my peripheral vision. If I take my elbows all the way flat, I'm disengaged. So if I connect my shoulders, close those ribs, brings those elbows up where they need to be. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, drop the breastbone, close the ribs, and curl up into a crunch. Notice the neck is nice and soft. Inhale, come down. Exhale, come up. The point is not to make it large, it's to get everything engaged and shaking. Now that low back is going to press into the mat just a little bit as we curl up as that spine moves, but we're not tucking the pelvis as it does that. Stay long, inner thighs strong to the midline. We're going to do one more. Come on up and hold. Keep that neck long and soft. One hand beside the body. Take the other hand beside the body. Connect those shoulders. Come up a little bit higher. Exhale, bring one leg into chair position, trying to maintain that neutral pelvis. And the other leg. Now from here, you can stay with the legs in chair position. You can straighten them to the sky, or you can lower them at an angle. For the 100, breathe in. Last one. Hold. Reach through those fingertips. Pull that belly button to the spine. Bend the legs into chair position. Roll down out of your crunch. Lower those feet to the mat. Whew. That's a warm up. Draw those knees into the chest. Give them a little bit of a hug and some hip stirs. We've got lots of muscles that we just jumped into action, so we want to give them a little bit of a break. And place those feet back on the mat. Opening up the chest and connecting the shoulders again. Finding those core connections. Pelvic floor, rib cage, belly button. We're going to walk those feet out away from our sit bones, but only so far as you can maintain equal pressure, big toe, little toe, and heel. It's really important to ensure that the whole leg stays active. Single leg circles. We're going to bring that right leg straight up to the ceiling there. Externally rotate the thigh bone so we turn it open. We've got a nice soft point through the ankle. I'm not gripping through the bottom of my foot there. Squeezing the inner thigh of that left leg to the midline. Nothing moves. My circle can only be so large as nothing else moves. Breath. Last Last one. Then we change direction. Nice long lever through the legs. Active through the back of the arms. Long neck. Last one. And place that right leg down, walking that foot out, maintaining stability through the spine, active through the core. Left leg to the sky. Externally rotate that thigh bone, press down through the right foot, recenter. We're gonna go 6 in each direction. This one's a little bit smaller than the other leg. Change direction. Last one. And bring that leg down. Walk those feet back towards the sit bones. Again, opening up the chest, making sure that spine is active. Long neck. Long, soft wrist. Equal pressure, big toe, little toe, and heel, but with those feet walked a little bit closer to the bum, we're gonna bridge. Inhale. Exhale, we're gonna tuck the pelvis first. Engage through the core, squeeze the inner thighs to the midline, and lift those hips. All right, so when we're bridging, this is a glute and ham exercise. It's really easy for us to overload it into the glutes. We wanna make it about the core first. Our abdominals lift the spine, the glute and hams hold the spine. So reach through those arms, long spine, close those ribs, drop out of that bridge just a little bit if you need, like I just did. Tend to pop a little too high. Lengthening, knees squeeze to the midline. Now, with an exhale, I'm gonna roll down, top of the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Knees keep reaching to the midline, press to the feet, deep tuck of the pelvis, and come back to neutral. Exhale, press feet, squeeze the inner thighs, tuck the pelvis, and lift. Tight psoas, tight psoas. Lift, 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 lift. Don't pop those ribs. Exhale, we come down. Long spine, deep tuck, inner thighs, squeeze, and we come down. We've got one more. Exhale, we tuck, inner thighs press, feet reach, abdominals connect, long spine, and we're gonna stay here. And we're gonna lift our heels into a little releve. Now I want equal pressure through the ball of your feet and through all 10 toes. Drop those heels. Can you do this without anything else shifting? Exhale, lift the heels. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Get those glutes to light up. Inhale, lower. Keep them down. Now, can we take one foot off of the mat? Inhale to prepare. Exhale, engage that core. Take the pressure out of the right foot. Point that leg long. Don't let those hips twist. Set it down. Exhale, squeeze those legs to the midline and change sides. One side's always easier than the other. Inhale, press it down. Try not to let those hips twist. You can place your hands on your pelvis like I have here, just to make sure that I'm not twisting. No twisty in the hips. Down, let's do one more each side. Really lengthen through the spine, long neck. Roll down. Deep tuck. And long we go. All right, if you've got your ball, go ahead and grab it now and place it between those ankles and take those legs long on the mat. That didn't work out quite as smooth as I planned. That's all right. So we want to hold that ball at the ankles, and notice my feet are flexed. Opening up that chest again, feeling the shoulder blades connect. Again, always checking in that I'm long, holding those connections first before making any of those movements, whatever range of motion they're going to be. Got a couple options here. You can bring those arms here by the ears to help in our roll up, or I really like the cue here to let your hands rest on those hip bones. Feel that ASIS right up in the palm of your hand. Connect through the core. You feel a little bit more space between the low back and the mat. Here long. pull up through the quads just a little bit. Don't lock out those knees. Everything needs to be active, working together. We're gonna roll up only so high as our legs don't shift. Let's see where we are. Exhale, the chin tucks, shoulder blades connect, breastbone drops, ribs close, come up. Woo, the pelvis and the legs want to shift, so I pause. Exhale, reach those legs towards that opposite wall, tuck through the pelvis, and roll down. This is really where you can see if your legs moved or not. If you can return without the legs moving, then you're spot on. If those legs shifted quite a bit as you rolled down, you came up a little too high. Let's do it again. Chin, shoulders, ribs, oh! And down. Ooh, I'm fighting for it this morning. That's all right, we'll get through this. Let's do one more. Squeeze those inner thighs, reach that ball, breathe. Pause, press those heels back into the floor, line lifted. Exhale, scoop the abdominals in, reach the heels away, come up and over that pelvis, reaching, feet staying flexed towards that opposite wall, past your feet as best you can. So I like to shift just a little bit, make sure I'm right on top of my sit bones, that my heels are pressed down, and that I'm reaching, that my shoulders are connected, and that reach and that stretch is happening genuinely in the spine, in the back of the legs, through the hamstrings, through the calves, all the way out through the bottoms of my feet. Breathing in to the sides and back of your rib cage here. So you don't feel like you've got to let your tummy lift off of those legs. Breathe into your back. As we exhale, stack the spine. Up, up, whoo, up tall. All right, so we're gonna set that ball to the side for just a second, and we're gonna separate those legs a little wider than your mat distance apart. So if you don't have a mat, it's no big deal. Sort of imagine how wide that mat would be, and let those legs go a little bit wider than that. So as I'm seated here, it's important that I'm not hinged into my pelvis or into my hips, that I'm genuinely back on my spine, on my sit bones rather, and that my spine is working, the abdominals are all engaged to hold me upright, shoulder blades are connected, arms are reaching out in front. Now take a look down at your feet and make sure that those toes are all shining straight up towards the sky, that we're not twisting in the hip there or in the ankle, and that we're reaching from our center all the way out through the length of those limbs. Spine stretch forward. We're gonna inhale to prepare. As we exhale, we're gonna close the ribs, pull those abdominals back as if we're trying to lift up and over a big ball, big beach ball again. We don't come into the neck, we don't hinge at the hips, we stay on the spine, stay on the sit bones. I'm getting all mixed up. Stay on the sit bones, stretching through the spine. Now inhale again into your back. As you exhale, reach the heels away, pull that pelvic floor up and in, and restack that spine as if you're a little lift riding all the way to the penthouse, top of your head. Go again. Exhale, we close the ribs and we pull that belly button to the spine as if it's trying to climb up inside your rib cage, legs so actively reaching away. Breathe into your back. Exhale, again, legs reaching away, pelvic floor draws in. And we stack. That is a lot of work. Let's do one more. Close those ribs, belly button pulls, reach. You feel that delicious stretch in your back. No strain anywhere. Breathe in. Exhale, stack. All right, now let's cross our arms here this morning. This just gives us a sense of control. The longer the lever of our limbs is, the more challenging it is on our core. So we start here with those arms crossed, right? Like Genie, staying on those sit bones, reaching through those legs, softening your hip flexors. Do it. Don't grip. And we're gonna twist. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, you lift through the crown of your head and twist through the spine, but keep that head in line with your arms. Inhale, center. Exhale, up and up over the other way. Now you're not the same from side to side, but notice there's no hinging in the hips. Inhale, center, one more like this breath cycle. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, center. Exhale, up and over. Now, come inhale, center. Exhale, hold. We're gonna change the breath, okay? So we're gonna inhale and exhale to prepare. So we breathe in. Exhale, grow tall in the spine. Inhale, twist. Ooh, that's harder, isn't it? Exhale, center. Inhale, twist. Working on that oppositional exhale, center. Work inside to outside, all the layers. Inhale, twist. Exhale, center. How those hip flexors doing? Soften them. Last one. And rest out of that. All right, bring those legs together, and we're gonna come down onto our side. So I like to cue this that we line up with the back edge of your mat. If you don't have a mat, again, that's totally fine. You just wanna be nice and straight like a pencil. I'm gonna come all the way down onto this bottom arm, and I'm gonna bring my feet to the front corner of my mat to make a banana shape with my body. So the hips are stacked, the feet are stacked. So when we lay on our side, this is our sort of natural tendency, right? We collapse into our waist, the shoulder and the ribs close in on themselves, and the top hip sort of draws up. This is no good at all. There's no length going on. So we're going to get ourselves set up. Take that top leg long and away to stack the feet. Feel the inner thighs both work by squeezing to the midline. Close those ribs. Lengthen through the crown of your head and stack your shoulders. So here in my back, I'm very, very active. I don't know if you can see this with the distance where the camera is, but there should be space, right? So I've got some space here between my waist and the mat. If you don't have space, you should feel the sensation or the idea of space. All of us are a little bit different, and all of us are different from one side to the next. So we're just looking to feel as if our hips are stacked, our shoulders are stacked, our spine is long. The abdominals are engaging to hold us here. Your hand position is here, up on your hip. Here, just giving you a constant reminder to stay long and connected. Fingertip touch on the floor. Help that nervous system a little bit. Or full palm onto the mat there, all right? We're gonna hover that top leg above the bottom leg. I'm gonna have my hand right here to help those ribs stay closed. We're gonna kick this top foot forward with our breath. Take it back. It's small. Nothing else moves. This side kick series is hard because of what we don't let move. Hover that leg above the bottom leg. Make sure we're still long. Tiny little circles from the hip of that top leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. Point the foot. Change the direction. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Flex the foot again. And I want you to make your circle as big as you can without losing your space between your waist and the mat. Inhale. Up and around. Exhale, stop. Ooh, that's hard. One more. Now point the foot, change direction. We take it back, up, around, and down. Nothing else moves. Back, up, around, and down. One more. Flex that foot again. Whoo. Lift that leg as high as you can. Outer thigh lifts. Waist, we keep that space between the mat and the floor. Oh, feel the shake. Reach that heel long. And let's do a little bit of a bend and stretch. We reach through the heel. Reach, 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 reach. 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. Whoo, that'll light that up. All right. Now, we want to bring this top leg onto the floor, to bring that top foot onto the floor. Now, our goal is to get it in front of the bottom hip, all right? But we've got to have equal pressure, big toe, little toe, and heel, and this knee is nice and open. There's a lot going on the inner outer thigh. Your joints are going to dictate where that leg can be. So you may find that it needs to be all the way out here. There's really not a wrong place unless you're hurting in your joints somewhere. So find where that foot placement works. Again, we're not losing that space between that waist and the mat. Stacked shoulders, stacked hips, Lots going on in the abdominals. Bottom foot is flexed. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, inner thigh lift of that bottom leg. Squeeze that whole inner thigh. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Down. Hold. Can we bend and stretch this leg? Release and grip around that thigh bone. Ready? And push, 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 push. Tummy tight, long spine. 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. Whoo. All right, now stack those feet and roll onto your belly. All right, so the position I want you to be in is hands right up here, head down, forehead resting. I don't know if you can hear me on the camera, so I'm gonna turn my head so that you can hear me. My legs are long on the mat. I've got a little bit of external rotation in those thigh bones so that my heels come together. Ribs are closed, belly button's drawn into the spine, so I'm neutral and I'm connected. Then inhale again, lifting the legs. Just hovering those legs. You feel your bum squeeze, pull up through that pelvic floor. You want to feel like you're trying to float your belly button off of the mat. And we're going to click those heels together nice and quick on a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Flex your feet wide like Mary Poppins. This is my favorite cue ever. Mary Poppins feet here. We want to fly away. Tummy tight, inner outer thigh nice and strong. Shoulders connected, neck long. Click those heels again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And down we go. Quick push back to stretch. And flip around to the other side. All right. So now the trick for me is remembering what I just did and doing it on this side as well, especially because this side is harder for me. So just go with it if I forget something, right? You guys won't notice, right? Right? All right, so line yourself up with the back edge of your mat. Feet go to the front corner, making that banana shape with your body. We're resting on this bottom arm. You can also rest on you can put a pillow there since you're at home. You can put your ball there. You just want that neck to be neutral, all right? Shoulders are stacked. We reach that top leg away, tummy is tight. We find that sensation of space between our waist and the mat. Shoulders stacked, we hold it, and that top leg comes up. We start with our kicks, 2 forward, 2 back. Woo. So you can already see my range of motion is so much smaller on this side. Let me tell you, it is harder. 2 more. Last one. Hover that flexed foot above the bottom leg. Tiny little circles forward first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. Point the foot. Take it back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Flex the foot. We got 3 big circles. Kick it forward, up, around, and down. Try not to let those ribs pop. Point that foot. Change the direction of the circle. Last one. Flex the foot again. Reach, stack, lift that leg as high as we can without losing that space. Bend and stretch. We push, 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 push. 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. All right. Pick your poison, as it were. So as I've said repeatedly, this is my bum hip. I cannot bring this foot up in line with the hip like I could on the other side. So I just bring it as far as I can. I feel the inner outer thigh working. I feel the abdominals working. Nothing fussy is happening in my joints. Bottom leg is flexed. Exhale, lift. Now because of the instability, the range of motion on this bottom leg is a little less than the other side. But again, it is working so much. All right, we lift and hold. You got a little bend and stretch. Push, push, push. It's a squeeze and release around the thigh bone there. Tummy tight, long line out through the heel. 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. Stack those feet, roll onto your belly, and we're gonna do those heel beats that we just did again. So, forehead, rest on the hands so that your neck is long, shoulder blades connected. Ribs closed, belly button drawn in. Slight external rotation with those thigh bones. Inhale, lift the legs. And click those heels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Flex those feet. Mary Poppins feet. Come on now. And click again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Come on down. Quick push back to your heels to stretch. And we come back down. We're gonna grab our ball, if you've got it handy, and we're gonna place it between our ankles and take the legs long. Do a little bit of extension work here. I'm gonna take my hands just on the outside of my mat here, lengthening through the crown of my head. So my eye gaze is straight down at my mat so that my neck, spine, all of it is nice and in line. I'm gonna close my ribs, and I'm gonna pull that belly button to the spine, which is going to drop me here long. I want everything to be neutral, all right? So I am not lifting my hips. There's no pike of the hips here. It's just a neutral pelvis. So the tailbone reaches long towards the heels. Really just feels as if I get my bones to not be strained in any of my joints. So again, it'll be different for everybody. Find that happy space that feels pretty easy. Now you're gonna squeeze the ball at your ankles from the top of the inner thighs. See if you can focus on that and find that sensation. So you're not squeezing at the heels, which is gonna light up your glutes. You're pulling with those adductors, the inner thighs, upwards, right up there in the middle, connecting to that pelvic floor, and it takes it long through the heels. We're gonna keep the feet on the mat. We're gonna keep our arms on the mat. Inhale and exhale to prepare. Close those abdominals. Pull it in tight. Inhale, we're gonna lift the upper body. Exhale down. Keep that belly button engaged. Inhale, lift. You don't want to leave your belly button on the mat. You got to bring it with you. One more. Make sure you got that belly button, and we're going to hold. Stay here. Inhale again. And as you exhale, take those arms off of the mat. Now this may be enough. This is pretty intense on the shoulders potentially. So if you can handle this, we're going to inhale to straighten the arms. Exhale, connect. So much back going on. Keep your belly button engaged. Stay lifted. One more. Down we go. Now we're going to keep the upper body engaged, but we're going to keep it on the mat this time. And we're going to lift the legs. Inhale and exhale. Now as we inhale, squeeze the ball from the top of the inner thighs and lift. Hold with the exhale. Now that tailbone is still down. You feel the muscles on either side of the spine really working, but you don't feel anything yucky in the spinal column itself. Down we come. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and hold. Keep breathing. Squeeze that ball. Ooh, I'm starting to shake. Now, we're going to join the upper body with the lower. Ready? Inhale, lift. Bring the arms up. Hold that ball from the top of the inner thighs. Keep that belly button engaged. Lift. And down we come. Push back to your heels and release your back. One more breath. All right, let's come back to a seated position. Bringing that ball with us there between the ankles. We're gonna press the feet down into the mat. Sit bones nice and strong, shoulder blades connected. Inhale. Exhale, tuck through the pelvis, press those feet into the mat, and come down one vertebra at a time. You gotta soften in the hip flexors and keep the work in the abdominals. And we're down. Okay. Let's walk those feet closer to us. And bring them up into chair position. We want the knees right over the hips. We want the lower leg parallel with the floor as best we can manage. Palms flipped up towards the ceiling and arms away from center here at about 45 degrees. I call this a low V. We're gonna tease her up. Are you ready? Inhale. Exhale, chin floats to the chest. Shoulder blades connect. Squeeze the ball. Let the legs go forward slightly. Rock through the pelvis and come up. Drop the feet and open up the chest. When we're doing our teaser, your non-negotiable piece is your spine. I don't care if you can get your legs straight. If you're all collapsed everywhere else, it doesn't count. So we want to be open here, yeah? Now exhale, tuck and roll down. Bring those legs back into chair position. Let's do it again. Down. Grab the ball, lower the feet, lift the hips. I'm gonna move down on my mat just a little bit here. All right, lift the hips, place the ball underneath the pelvis. Shoulder blades are connected, fingertips reaching towards the back of the heels. Our pelvis is neutral, ribs are closed. A lot of activity with our hips lifted on the ball like this. And we're gonna take those legs straight up to the ceiling. Now, if you've never done this before, this is more work than it seems. And this may be enough of a challenge for you. We're gonna work on some inversion here. We're gonna work on a rollover a little bit. And any point along the way is really potentially enough work. So again, honor your body and pause where you have the most control in your connection. So the arms are reaching long, chest is open, neck is reaching. Inhale. As we exhale, we hinge at the hips, bringing those knees towards our nose. Inhale, open. So we're looking for a stretch in the low back, the hamstrings, coordinating the abdominals. Bring it a little bit further. Now we're gonna roll over. We hinge, lengthen, inner thigh squeeze, scoop, woo! And we come over onto our shoulders. Not up onto the top of our shoulders, not onto your neck. Tummy is tight, pull that belly button in. See if you can lift those sit bones towards the sky by engaging through the abdominals. Not coming further over onto your neck, but lifting those hips. Now with an exhale, you're gonna roll down. That ball will be there to catch you. Isn't that tidy? Let's do it again. Hinge of hips. Scoop and roll over. Now, you can roll down onto the ball again, or you can move the ball. Roll down without. Pull through the abdominals. Now you're gonna reach those feet actively to the wall behind you as you pull the vertebra down one at a time, all the way, keeping that neck long on the mat. And lowering those feet with control. Nice. So our spine should be feeling nice and stretched out. We should be feeling really strong. I'm a little sweaty if I'm honest. It's kind of nice. And we're gonna come over onto our belly. We're gonna put the ball between our ankles one more time. Toes are tucked. What are we gonna do? We're gonna forearm hover, of course. All this plank challenges and blah, blah, blah. That's what we're gonna finish with, all right? So we've got those down onto our forearms. Shoulder blades are connected. Now, everybody again is a little bit different. You gotta pay attention. Having my arms right underneath my shoulders brings me too narrow and makes me kind of pop here. So I've got to take those arms a little bit wider so that my shoulder blades can easily slide down and stay connected to the rib cage. I've got my toes nice and tucked here. I've got that ball between my ankles, again, squeezing from the top of the inner thighs. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift, and I drop back. So I'm not over flexing those ankles, but I'm very active in my feet, in the inner thighs, pelvic floor, rib cage. I don't let that head hang. I've got to keep the back of the head lifted towards the sky so that those muscles between the shoulder blades stay working. And I got to say, doing this alone in my house is a lot harder than in a group of people. So hang in there. We can do this. Lengthen through the crown of your head, dropping through the heels, squeezing through the inner thighs. One more breath. Now as we exhale, pitch forward on those toes and lower with control. All right, so we're gonna do it again. We're gonna change it up a little bit since we're kind of cooling down here at the end. Coming up onto those forearms, toes tucked, holding onto the ball, palms down, down into the mat. Lift, drop back. Now, squeeze the inner thighs, hips to the sky as you bring your head down, shoulder blades connected to a nice dolphin or a modified upstretch. And then drop the hips and lift the head. Lift, inner thighs are connected, down. One more, and down. Lower to the floor. All right, I've got this rule about 3. So even though we went up and down in that one, we gotta do one more. So, in true fashion, I gotta set a timer, right? I mean, I think you guys would be disappointed if we didn't set a timer. I mean, I've got it right here, and it only seems fair that I follow my rules that I set for you, right? So we're gonna do this for a minute, yeah? Connect the shoulders. And lift. All right, that timer is going. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Shoulder blades reaching soft through the wrist. Feel the inner thighs connecting all the way down to the knees, to the ankles, out the back of the feet. Breathing in and breathing out. A minute is so much longer when you're alone. Keeping the back of the head lifted to the sky. Feeling between the shoulder blades working so strong. Adjusting if you're slipping. Breathing in and breathing out. Oh, we're at 8 seconds. We can do this. Come on. And time. Down we come. Push back to your heels and release your back. So from here in this nice child's pose, if you'll take your hands to one side of your mat and push those hips back to the opposite side, you'll stretch through one side of the spine. Take those hands to the other. Back in the middle. And up we come. All fours. Tuck the toes. Lift into an upstretch. So we've got equal pressure on all 10 toes. Inner thighs are reaching to the midline. Shoulder blades are connected. Head is hanging out right between those arms. And down we come. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this little workout, which will hopefully be the first of many that we do. So give us a comment down below. Let me know what you liked or what you didn't like. If you have any questions about something that you felt when you were doing the workout, that you're not quite sure if that was right or not, shoot a message there and we will get back to you. And remember,